And up here, nothing new with that expansion. Probably should have sent that probe maybe back to the main base just to do some shit. Waiting for that Nexus to warp in isn't exactly effective. And now me and Valiant are going in for another attack. Got a pretty healthy mix of Stalkers and Zealots. One thing that I sometimes might do differently is just have a probe build a pylon right there, so I can just warp in units very quickly, and he has his roaches burrowed underground, and that'll be interesting to see what he does with that. The world will never know. And he kind of unburrows a little late there, it almost seems, but doesn't matter in the end. This is one of the larger battles of the game, I think. Not the largest, but I mean, after this one big Zerg attack, or Zerg counterattack, I should say, he doesn't have much else to offer. As is, I think, yeah, I'm going for my robotics facility. Now that I see that both of them are going mainly with ground units, I want to get some Colossi on the scene. And Colossi are very effective against infantry, but you need support with them. If you just throw in like 3 Colossi and like 5 Stalkers, it's not that effective. You need them to have that cover in front of them. Very important. And also having maybe some Void Rays or Phoenixes help, because obviously Colossi are not effective against air units whatsoever. Yeah. Right now he's just got those 2 medevacs floating over. I don't know if he finally sees that Zergling. Oh yeah, there we go. So Valiant completely notices those are Zerglings there. Is he even going to take him out? No. He is not. So not too much to report on at this point for the moment. Valiant going in for another attack. He's got siege tanks now. More good counterattacks, or counters to what the other players are using. And StarCraft 2 is all about knowing what your enemy's going to do. If you know your enemy's going heavy on air units, getting anti-air is not too difficult, but if you don't scout out your enemy, or if you're not aggressive, for all we know, that Terran player could have a whole army there, and general rule of thumb for me, you can't let them build up their defenses too long. Not to mention, you'll never know what they have if you let them be too long, but that's something most people would know about anyway. So, me and Valiant going in for one more attack, and this one will almost finish off that Terran player. As is, I believe I'm going to be warping in more Stalkers and getting some Colossi on the scene. Yeah. And that's it. Now that I got Colossi, this game is basically done. He doesn't have a chance. Marauders will not do the job against siege tank Stalkers and Colossi. Never. And those roaches don't even have a fighting chance whatsoever. And yeah, not too much else to say. This red player is finally starting to beef up his economy to the point where I think he's the strongest person economically. But it's a little late. I mean, he had a very weak start in terms of his military. So I think it might be too late for him to make the difference. Yeah. So, as always, it's a good idea to keep checking back and warping in more units. Because it's so fast, you want to just utilize that warp ability that you get with the warp gates. Valiant doing nice work with those medevacs. And yeah, this is done. Now, both this red player and the Zerg player do expand, but they're doing nothing with these expansions. That SCV is just chilling there like, yeah, I don't want to fight in the battle. And this base is basically done in terms of minerals. He's screwed here. He's getting more roaches, but at this point roaches will not do the job against an army like this. Maybe some Mutalisks thrown in would be nice, but siege tanks, Colossi, and Stalkers flat out beat roaches. Although roaches are pretty... Oh. That is a lot of words right there. Oh, that's right. I think like there was lag or something going on there. That was it. So yeah, I'm just continuing to build Colossi. Me and Valiant just saving up a little bit. We know that we have them basically in a stranglehold. This Terran player, even if he has another base, the recovery would take too long. There's nothing left that he can really do at this point in terms of resources. He does have over 2,000? That surprises me. I didn't think he would, but then again, towards the end of that, his economy was pretty strong. But, well, with one SCV, or however many he has, yeah, he's got one SCV and one Marauder. That flat out will not do the job. And, yeah, what is that Marauder doing there? He kind of pussy out for the fight, like, I'm not willing to do this. But he just flat out can't produce at a fast enough rate. He needs to completely rebuild. It's not going to happen. Now the Zerg player, he understands that he's by himself. So, but still, the mass roach army is not going to work. He's still purely building roaches. And no matter what, unless my enemy is going, like, I don't even know. I always like to have some variety just in case. Like, if he had Mutalisks, that's why I don't want to go flat out Colossi, you know? And he is bringing these roaches in. Might be a little interesting to see what the fuck happens. But those siege tanks... Oh no, that's right. Siege tanks do not see underground units. For a second I thought they did. My bad. And those roaches might be able to finish those off. Oh, no. He's got that massive infantry ball. I don't think so. I don't know. No, those roaches are done, so... I mean, with that attack, he has nothing left that he can do. He's done with resources there, although he is expanding quite heavily to over there. We don't even know that this guy has a second base yet, which is kind of awkward. I think we're about to find out right now. Yeah. And right here, I just have a pretty intimidating-looking army. Continuing to just warp in Stalkers and get Colossi. Battle is basically over, so at this point, I'm going to be heading off. Nothing left for me to really say. You can enjoy as the massacre finishes. And I'm going to go now. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give this video